Hi guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Wendy, your one and only Magandita. But I just want to clarify, disclaimer, again, I am not a professional, I am not a lawyer, I am not an immigration lawyer or anything. I am just a normal expat living here in Portugal, and I'm just sharing with you my personal experiences. So take note, remember, this is just a personal experiences or anything about ideas how is the life here in Portugal as an expat. And again, for today's video, takes forever. I know. I think I'm not posting about Portugal, about my journey here in Portugal as an expat. And as you know, I just came back from my vacations, and there are still some inquiries, and I have some pending inquiries about Portugal, especially the cost of living here in Portugal. So, and for today's video, we're gonna talk about the cost of living here in Portugal 2023. I'm not just going to share randomly, but I also am going to share my personal experiences, my personal cost of living here in Portugal. So without further ado, let's get started. Cost of living here in Portugal 2023. As of my knowledge, cut off in I think September 2021, Portugal was known for being relatively affordable compared to many other Western European countries. However, it's important to note that the cost of living can also vary depending on the several factors such as location, example here in Lisbon versus smaller cities or rural areas. Also in lifestyle choices and also the personal preferences. You may also note that prices can also changes over time, especially now, of course, this inflation rates is so getting crazy. So to get the most up-to-date and accurate information regarding the cost of living here in Portugal this 2023, I recommend you consulting a reliable sources such as government websites, expat forums, there's so many things on Google, you can search about it, or reputable cost of living indexes. These sources can provide detailed information about housings, transportations, groceries, dining out, utilities, and other expenses that you may incur while living here in Portugal. So here are some general overview of some common expenses here in Portugal. Number one is accommodations. Yes, number one, expenses. Accommodation rental prices can vary depending on the city and neighborhood. In Lisbon, for example, the monthly rent for a one-bedroom apartment in the city center can range about 800 to 1,500, while outside the city center, it may range from 600 to 1,000 euro. So you may take note of that. Rental prices tend to be lower in the smaller cities or rural areas. Take note. So that's it. For me, if you want to save some money for accommodations or renting, my hack or to save some money strategy is living with someone or sharing an accommodation with other people, like what I do here. And I'm living here in Odivelas. It's kind of outside of Lisbon. Although, yeah, there is some disadvantage of that. I know you cannot have so much privacy, but of course you can have your own room also. And you cannot be on your kitchen. It's not your own because it's a common area or something. But that's a good thing is, like what I do, I'm sharing accommodation with some people. So this place I'm staying, it's like 3 bedrooms. One is for me, of course, and most of these people that I'm sharing with they're always not around. And since I'm working online, so it's always me here at home most of the time. So it's just, I have mostly my own privacy. And so this is just my hack, like if you want to save some money. So the expenses, because this is so expensive here, the renting of the accommodation. So in this, what I'm living, I am paying 330, but 200 in 2020 it was only 300. Now they raised of 30, but which is okay. And 330 euro is included the water, electricity, and also the internet. Yes, my accommodation has its own internet. So I don't know how much about it, the expenses my landlady is paying for these expenses, but it is the package that I'm paying for her. So 330 euro. Second is food. Groceries in Portugal are generally affordable. A monthly budget for food, including groceries and eating out, can range from 150 to 300 euro per person, depending on the personal preferences and dining choices. So, my personal expenses for food, usually before, way back 2 years ago, I think it was 2020, it was like 100 to 150 euro. But since now that I have my child, I have my baby. If you don't know, I have Matilda. She's almost 1 year old, so she's eating a lot already. So my budget now for food, it's almost 200 to 250 euro a month. I know, because of course, the two factors that I raise is because of I have a child, and the one other factor that affects for this is the inflation rate. Nowadays, inflation is getting crazy. I know it's not just in Portugal, but I know it's all over the country. So that is my personal budget for food, 200 to 250 euro, including in everything. So the third is transportation. Public transportation such as buses, train is relatively inexpensive here in Portugal. The monthly passes for public transport in Lisbon can cost around 40 euro to 60 euro. Fuel prices are also generally lower compared to other European countries. For the transportation and my personal use, I do use also the social pass. That's what I call it. And it's 40 euro for 1 month. You can use it to public transportation such as trains, buses, and also the buses, it's Carish. And those are the types of buses in Portugal. And also in the ferry, you can use it if you want to go to Seychelles, to Almada, or something like that. And if you don't want to use the social pass, of course there are also some applications that you can use, like a Uber or a Bolt. Because like me, I'm having a baby when I'm having Matilda, and if I want to go somewhere quickly or something, depending on the weather, if it's really hot or if it's really cold, I'm using Uber or Bolt. So that is an available transportation here in Portugal. Generally speaking, it's 40 euro, the monthly expenses if you want to live here in Portugal, or especially in Lisbon. Number 4 is utilities. Utility costs, including electricity, water, heating, and internet, can also vary depending on the size of the household and usage habits. On the average, monthly utility bills can range from 100 to 200 euro here in Portugal. For the utilities, like I have said, I'm not spending utilities here in my accommodation because it is included to my rent here in my accommodations. But of course, I'm spending something also on my personal data, which is this. I'm paying in Vodafone at 20 euro per month. It has 3 gigabytes of internet and 5 SMS and calls locally, but I don't use it so much personal data, because as I have said, I am working online and I have internet here at home. So that is just an extra of my expenses for my utilities. It's very little expenses, on the utilities. Number 5 is healthcare. Portugal has a public healthcare system here, which is generally affordable and of good quality also. Residents are required to contribute in the national health system based on their income. Private healthcare options are also available at a very cost, of course. So now about healthcare, that is really important thing that I could show you, and I will be really proud to share this video about the healthcare. Why? Because I got pregnant here in Portugal. I gave birth here in Portugal, and guess what? I did not pay any single thing or any penny here in Portugal until I gave birth, and actually until Matilda was born, and until right now I'm not paying anything for Matilda. Because why? I'm receiving something from Social Security, which I will be discussing it in another video, of course. If you want to know, let's just shoot me down a comment how I'm taking some money from Social Security with Matilde. Okay. Anyway, about healthcare. Since like when I got pregnant, because I was working here for more than a year, more than like 2 years actually, 3. When I was pregnant, so I get allowance from the government, from Social Security. I was having like 90, less than 100 euro a month, but I got that when I was like 13 weeks of pregnancy, because here if you have 13 weeks pregnant and if you're working here for at least 6 months, you can get allowance from the Social Security that moment. So my consultations, my every consultations during pregnancy, prenatal checkups are free here in health center, or they call it Centro de Salud. That's what they call it here. And then when I delivered the baby, everything was also free. Guess what? I was in cesarean, TEMU. The good thing is, in the hospital, I really like the setup of everything. Here in the hospital and the health facilities, it was really amazing. It was like I was in a hotel. Or I don't know if all the hospitals here is like that, but it was amazing. I was really amazed at good services. They have really high technology, and medical equipment is really advantage, and it's really amazing. And that is what I really amazed about here in Portugal. So if you want to be here in Portugal and if you get pregnant, you're gonna be so lucky. But of course, you have to have at least 6 months contribution to Social Security in order for you to get those benefits. So you're gonna be so lucky when you get the baby here, and your baby will be Portuguese. So like me, my baby is Portuguese. Those are the advantage that you can take here in Portugal. But it is important to keep in mind that these figures are general estimates only, and it can be vary based on personal circumstances and location within Portugal. And I also recommend to research specific cities or regions of interest and consult up-to-date sources, or speak with your locals, or some expats like me who are living here in Portugal. I'm open to any communications to get more accurate understanding of the cost of living in the area. So thank you everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to know anything about Portugal, or if you have any more questions or suggestions, you may DM me or comment me down below. If you want to know anything about Portugal, and I will share my own knowledge, my own experiences especially. And again, please don't forget again to like this video, subscribe, and smash that bell notification so you will never miss my vlogs and some tips about my personal tips here in Portugal. See you again next time. Ciao!